Hello. And welcome to Stretford Paddock.
Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. I'm Alex and this is Joe.
Hello, you're right. Why do we look like Simon and Garfunkel right now, sat with these mics?
Really.
We look like Westlife or something, don't we?
Well, maybe you'll see tomorrow, or today, or 2 days ago, whenever this gets edited
You'll
and
have seen
goes
it
out.
yesterday.
You'll have seen it yesterday.
Slow Readers
Why
Club. Yeah.
Club. Anyway,
We're
and
for
this
them.
is our season in review up until now. It's kind of over, but it's kind of not. So
Well,
it's
we're
kind of
having
is.
2 seasons this year, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're having that, September to, or August to March,
now,
and then we're having the,
When-
April or
whatever
June
they decide to do.
or October or November to whenever.
So yeah, we're just gonna have a chat about how things have gone.
Yeah.
So
We're going to
far.
rank who's been good, who's not been good, how it's gone so far.
How it's
I want to
ebbed,
know
how
who's
it's
been good.
flowed.
I want to know who's been good. Because let's say United's player of the season was tonight. I think we need to come up with that answer.
Right,
Let's come up with that answer.
Let's come up
Player
with
of the season so far.
So before we do that, let's go back. Let's go back in time. End of the transfer window.
Yeah.
Manchester United have completed the signing of Harry Maguire on a world record fee.
The news that just broke this morning, actually, that Wan-Bissaka has signed for United for £45 million.
Dan James, reported by multiple news outlets, has passed his medical at Manchester United.
Well, I've
What
never
was
heard of
the-
Daniel
what
James.
was the feeling going into that first game?
The feeling was
against Chelsea?
Harry Maguire. I'm excited to see him. He's
Yeah.
been very good for Leicester. He's been
Yeah.
good against United, and I think he's England's best centre back. Let's get him in.
Very, very.
My thoughts on Aaron Wan-Bissaka defensively looks great, but will he be that good for United?
Yeah. it's
Because he needs to be good attacking.
a lot of money for
And
someone.
also, let's face it, no offence to Crystal Palace, but when you make defensive mistakes for Crystal Palace, they don't
just
get
happens
people
all the
don't
time,
talk
doesn't it?
about it.
Yeah, it
But
just
when you
happens
make
all
a
the time.
defensive mistake for United, then all of a sudden maybe he's not that good defensively.
Yeah.
And Dan James, don't need to worry about him because he's probably never going to play because
He's
he's
never
going
gonna
to
play.
be a
He'll
second
be-
choice player.
Yeah, because he's just going to be signed to on the bench. And yeah, that didn't happen.
That
did
didn't
it?
happen at all, did it?
And then we kicked off. Well, the other thing was, Paul Pogba stayed.
Yeah.
We all thought he was gone.
People thought he was
never
going to
go-
leave.
He's never staying. And then Pogba stayed, and I was like, do you know what? It's not a bad team, that.
It's a decent team
That 11,
on paper.
you got McTominay, you got Fred
But,
Pogba, decent in there.
Marcus
Front three,
Rashford and
Marcus Rashford,
and-
Martial, maybe Dan James.
Exciting, but I think, do you remember this time? People were going off Marcus Rashford a bit, weren't they? Do you remember? He had a good.
Yeah, they
This
weren't-
first game he was good, but the first couple of months, do you remember
Yeah.
how
We flew into it. Flew into start the season. 4-0 win.
battered him?
Then we played Wolves
Yeah,
and Palace. And we missed some penalties.
we kept missing loads of penalties,
We
didn't we?
missed Pogba missed one, and Rashford missed one, and then Southampton happened, and we got beat away to Southampton. And at this point, Southampton looked pretty shit.
Yeah,
They were, and
They were really
they
bad.
Still aren't great now.
but they have good runs of form, don't they,
Yeah.
Southampton? Because they've got
So
Danny Ings.
that first start of it, and you're like,
Yeah,
this isn't going to go well.
it had been. I mean, it
Not
had
at
been
all.
a sort of series of difficult and challenging performances, and then Martial got injured, didn't he? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Anthony Martial got injured, and then Marcus Rashford, like I said, it was just getting to a point where he missed a penalty. And his form had kind of been lumped in with Jesse Lingard. I think just because they're
Yeah,
mates.
because they're mates,
Like,
and
I-
that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah,
And
so Jesse Lingard's having a bad time, so Marcus
Yeah.
must be shit as well.
so we lost Martial before it was Palace game. We lost Martial.
Yeah.
Then we lost Paul Pogba,
Yes.
and everyone's kind of going.
Oh,
Right,
no.
we thought we were all right with
Yeah.
the 11. Now you've lost potentially the best two players. Now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, then we scraped through. We beat Leicester 1-0, which kind of everyone went, what a great result that was. But
Yeah.
then it was just a bit wishy-washy crap.
Yeah. Is this
4-1,
when Newcastle happened? And
Well, yeah, it was
then,
just kind of all the way through. We got beat by West Ham. We scraped past Rochdale.
Yeah.
Played Rochdale and drew 1-1.
We got into penalties, didn't we?
Went to penalties. And then we got beat by Newcastle.
Yeah, that was a really
And that
bad
was
game.
up until the
That-
international break. And
I
that
think
was
that
like,
Newcastle game is the worst game we played this season because
were
they
like-
weren't even good.
it was almost, what are we going to
Yeah.
There was the talk of, are United in a relegation battle? That
Yeah,
was honestly the questions, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of tongue-in-cheek, but not really because
We were only
pundits who
2
don't
points.
like United at the best of times were very quick to talk about we are genuinely in a relegation
Yeah.
battle here.
Yeah. And then we had a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Still no Pogba. Well, Pogba came back for the Rochdale game, and then that was him done
Yeah.
again. So this was kind of the start of Pogba
Yeah.
not playing at all.
Yeah.
And then we came back, and it was a Liverpool game. Remember that one?
Do.
Me and you.
I do
Sat
remember
with
that
it.
game.
And
Do you know what? We were good in that game.
very good. And
Yeah.
that kind of lifted us a
Yeah,
little.
it
bit.
did.
Got
We
going
deserved
again.
to win that game, and I think even a Liverpool fan would admit that.
Yeah.
They had more possession in the second half, but didn't really make any chances,
And then-
except the goal. A lapse in concentration from Marcus Rojo just got drawn toward the ball, and was it Lallana? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lallana just popped it in.
Yeah.
In the box, but
And we kind of
we were good.
got going again.
Yeah.
And specifically, Marcus Rashford. This is when he started absolutely flying.
I honestly think for the sort of 6 to 8 weeks up until he got injured,
He
or
was-
however long it was,
he
he's
was up
one
there.
of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Like, just for that, like,
Doing
scoring
everything.
pretty much every
Yeah, he
game,
was doing absolutely
scoring in big games, taking free kicks, scoring 2
He
away
scored
against
that one
Chelsea.
against- that one against
Incredible
Chelsea.
free kick against
Oh,
Chelsea. One of the best free kicks I've ever
ridiculous.
seen. He was really unplayable for, 2 months there.
And
It was just
then
amazing.
We had a bit of a dip again. And take you back. We had a bit
Take
of
me
problems with we had Sheffield United
Yeah.
away.
Yes.
And we were 2-0 down at half time. I don't think we kicked the ball.
We were terrible in that first half.
And honestly, I thought it felt like the end of, like when Mourinho was getting to the end, Van Gaal was getting to the end.
That first half did feel a bit like that,
you were
actually.
almost like, that's it.
Here we go.
They're going to get beat 3 or 4-0 today.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it.
Yeah, because they were completely dominated, weren't they? It wasn't even like
It was-
we've got all the ball, but they've scored on the counter-attack.
was
They
end of
just
the
pressed
season.
us, won the ball high up, scored 2 goals. We were terrible. Phil Jones looked amateur.
Yeah.
Even Brandon Williams, who at that time hadn't put a foot wrong for United, didn't look great in that game.
And then that second half kind of,
Yeah,
it lifted us.
3
It
goals
lifted
in
us.
about 15 minutes, wasn't it?
And then we had a little bit of again, up and down. We
Mm.
didn't lose any games, but we kind of up and down again. And then it came to, then we're into December now.
Mm.
And it was, again, the talk of, this kind of helped Ollie a little bit because that comeback.
Yeah.
But then we had Tottenham, City.
Yeah.
Tottenham was the Wednesday, City was the Sunday,
Yeah.
was the Sunday. And the talk was then, if he doesn't
If
get
he loses
something
these
out of
two,
these, that's him
He's
gone.
gone, yeah.
And
And it genuinely did feel like that. Like,
it was almost to the point where you kind of went, yeah, you can see that happening.
well, the thing is, the closest I ever felt to that, like, oh, we might go here, and it's the only time I've ever truly felt it was that first half against Sheffield United,
Yeah.
where like we are just worse than Sheffield United.
Yeah,
They've
which isn't
come
good.
and they've battered us. I think even leading up to the Tottenham and City
Yeah.
games, there was still part of me that thought, they're 2 difficult games. Maybe we won't. Maybe it doesn't matter that
you'll get
much.
4
Hopefully we can
points
get
out.
yeah.
You might get 2 points out of it, and you won't
Yeah,
be that
3
bad.
points, a win and a draw. We'll take a win
And
and
then
a draw.
it was almost like, because Tottenham were on a bit of a down as well, so you're
Yeah.
kind of like, look, this could be. And then they got Mourinho in, and everyone was just kind of like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like, this is now a big game,
Yeah.
huge game. Mourinho coming back. to
Mourinho
Old
and
Trafford,
Guardiola in a week.
and you're like,
4 days, sorry, as Solskjaer would say.
Yeah.
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
And then you had Jesse Lingard putting unbelievable performances. Marcus Rashford scoring goals, Martial scoring goals,
Yeah,
and you're
that-
just like,
Yeah. We beat them both.
wow,
That was amazing, wasn't
wow,
it? It was
And
great.
then you kind of picked up again. It all looked great.
Mm.
And then we lost to Watford. So it was just, this was the season. It was like you'd have a few good games, and then something would just
Yeah.
tumble us back down to
Tis the season to be inconsistent.
inconsistent, and
Yeah.
that was it. And then we're into January then, and then you're kind of like, oh, then it's transfer season, obviously, because
Yeah.
straight away we were all talking. We needed players. You
Yes.
had to have
Our
players.
team was so thin.
So
Pogba
thin.
was out.
Pogba was out.
Yeah.
McTominay was he out? At this
McTominay
point?
was out, yeah.
McTominay was out at this point. Just like, we need players.
Our
in.
midfield, we're regularly starting with Fred, Pereira, and Lingard as our midfield 3.
Which isn't great.
Oh, and we struggled to win games, did we?
great.
There's
Yeah,
a shock.
So in January, you had the big loss to City 3-1 at home in the cup.
Yeah.
You had a few dodgy performances. You had the loss to Liverpool,
Yeah.
and you had the loss to Burnley.
Yeah.
But there was this Bruno Fernandes thing kind of lingering in the background, wasn't it? He was kind of there. You were kind of thinking,
Because what we heard, so here's a bit of the inside track on that a little bit. In the summer, we'd spoken to people at the club and they'd said, we're not really in for Bruno Fernandes. I think we'd kept an eye on him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a genuine transfer for United. But then in the winter transfer, we spoke to the same people again. And this time they didn't deny it.
No.
So that's when you start to think, oh, actually, there's something in this. So it's whether we could get it done. There was still talk that it might happen in the summer as well, wasn't there?
Yeah,
the Bruno deal. And I just think those injuries to Pogba, to McTominay,
kind of
just forced, Ed Woodward's hand a little bit.
So we had them games, and then the Burnley defeat, and then
Yeah.
in comes Mr. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay.
I think before that game, we did the Behind Enemy Lines with Vizza, who's a
Yeah.
FIFA YouTuber. He's a Burnley fan. We went over to Burnley and did the video at Turf Moor, and it felt like we'd win, but it didn't. There was no real kind of confidence, and it was like, this is the sort of team we lose
but
to.
they were like they had no confidence either.
No, they were
kind of
going
thought
through
that
really
was
poor
it.
run of form at the time.
And we'd just beaten them like 2 weeks before or something. There was no reason. We were at home. There was no reason for us not to win that game. And then
Was it 2-0?
2-0. Did they
It was Wood, wasn't it? Chris Wood definitely scored one.
Chris Wood scored, and then it was Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah,
that
brilliant goal, wasn't it? Yeah.
And you just kind of went, we have to get players in. We have to get players. And then Bruno arrived. Yes. And then there was the Wolves game.
Yeah.
0-0. Kind of was always going to look that way, didn't it?
Yeah.
Bruno wasn't fit he wasn't quite fit yet. He wasn't quite into the team. Didn't quite know things. And then after then, I mean, we've been all right since.
We've been all right, haven't we? What is it since then? 11 games without defeat.
Without defeat.
8 clean sheets.
Yeah. 29 goals.
Conceded.
Or
No,
more?
9 clean sheets because it's 29 goals, I think, or maybe more. No, it was 22 and then we scored 5. So 27 goals scored, 2 conceded.
Which is ridiculous.
Can
you say something like we've scored? Did someone say before? Our defenders have scored 5 goals in the time that we've only conceded 2.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Maguire scored 2. Jones scored against Tranmere. Dallow scored against Tranmere, and Brandon Williams, I think. Oh no, Luke Shaw or someone. I don't know. Someone else scored.
Did he score?
I don't remember. It's definitely 5 scored, 2 conceded for our defence in that time.
It's ridiculous.
And has been like. It's a shame really because this upturn in form, we're still only 5th.
Yeah.
How's that happened?
Well, I mean, a lot
What's
of
going
them.
on there?
We've had a lot of cup games because people forget this. You know, we beat City in the cup, but we've still got knocked out.
Yeah.
But then got through past Bruges, which wasn't the easiest thing. You know,
The away game was tricky, wasn't it?
And then last we battered them.
Yeah.
In them games. Got through in the FA Cup, which again, it was an important thing. It's still a big thing, especially.
That was against Watford as well, wasn't it?
Not Watford. No, we've got Watford in the next round.
Oh, was it? Who did?
No, we've got Norwich in the
Derby.
next round. We've got Derby. We've beaten Derby.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've beaten someone else in that time.
Yeah, we have.
In the cup. I can't think of who it was.
No, it's too hard to think. Don't worry about it.
We beat
City away.
Tranmere
we beat.
was one of them.
Yeah.
So we've been flying, and that was for as much as it's not been a great season.
No.
The bad stuff has been inconsistently bad because there's been glimpses of brilliance in between. This is the first time we've had 11 games
since Solskjaer first came in.
Since we've been we've been consistent with something, not even consistently bad. We've been consistently good.
Yes.
And it was all looking
Yeah,
good.
this is the first time we've been consistent at all.
At
like
all.
I said, good or bad, since Solskjaer first came in.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. We were consistently bad for the last 10 games of the season last year. So since that, this whole season, the first time we've been consistent either way has been these last 11 games.
And to be honest,
been great.
saw it. I saw us getting into the top 4. I could see us sneaking.
Yeah.
Chelsea weren't looking great. Leicester as well. They were
We're only,
rocking a
what
bit.
is it, 6 points behind Leicester or something,
6
isn't
points
it?
behind Leicester.
And Chelsea have got loads of injuries. Tammy Abraham was out. Kante, I believe, was injured. Kovacic was out as well, maybe suspended. I think he's probably back now, but they've had a lot of injuries. And if and when the league comes back, which we don't know, which is why we're doing this video, because I honestly think, I know they've said they're extending it indefinitely. They're not going to, let's say this doesn't pass, the coronavirus doesn't pass through until, drop down to a point where games are playable until December. I don't think the playing games out.
I mean, I don't think it'll be that long.
Well, they think the pinnacle won't be for another 12 weeks. So that takes us into June.
Yeah.
So that's when we hit the top, let alone... So if we're here now on the curve, the pinnacle is in June, we have to get back down the other side of that.
It's whether they can...
To it being less than we are now.
Again, it's whether they can maintain it enough where... It's whether football's a different thing, isn't it? Football's a different world. Whether they... Because I think money will... talk in that sense where when it gets to April, if they can say players have been isolated enough, they reckon the players can go out into behind closed doors games. They can test the reporters go into the games. They can test the camera. They can make it so it's just an isolated area.
And this
I think that'll get to a point where they could push it through almost where. Fans aren't going to be able to go out the house to watch it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I want to talk about because you'll see this on Saturday. There are rumours and sort of half suggestions here and there that the country is going to go into lockdown by Friday. So that is tomorrow, and there's also Prime Minister's talk today. So they can't play through the lockdown, can they? I don't
know.
Surely not.
My only thought behind it is that money rules
the day.
Money rules the day of it, and the TV companies and all that kind of stuff just start saying. we need to get something played.
So this is a little season review then, isn't it? So here's what I want from you.
Go on.
I want you to rate Solskjaer out of 10 for his job this season, and I want you to give me a player of the year.
Okay.
Your player of the year, and then we'll do our own player of the year. We'll come up with a group discussion for Solskjaer.
I don't think you can rate it higher than 6.
Really?
For as much as it is good with the squad he's done,
interesting.
We are still Manchester United and still should be aiming for more. And I still think there's definite things that have gone wrong.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been gone
wrong. I think there are things that he's done wrong. I think there are things that have gone wrong.
we've lost games with players that we shouldn't be losing. That's the non-excuse. Because you've seen it when he's got the tactics right. We've beaten the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
There's only Liverpool we've not beaten this year.
I would like to add our stellar cup form on to the 6 that you think is his maximum. I think he deserves a 7. I think when you look at what a manager's job is, it is to get the best out of the players he's got, and he's clearly improved many players in the squad. It's to win trophies, and we haven't won the League Cup. We're not going to win the league, obviously, but we're still in the FA Cup and the Europa League. And I think the other job is to recruit. And I think his recruitment has been excellent.
Very, very well.
So I think he deserves a 7 out of 10.
For me, it would be 6 with a star that says if he brings a trophy in, it goes to 7.
Okay. You know what? I'll agree with that.
That's
6 with an asterisk.
Yeah, 6.
If we get a trophy by the end of the season, it's a 7.
Yeah.
And if we get top 4 and a trophy?
8.
Yeah. I think 7.
I don't think it's better. I don't think.
No, you're the one that's pushing it, mate. Come on, have a bit of self-respect.
If you get into the Champions League
yeah.
with that team and have silverware.
Would you prefer to win? Here's a question, sorry. Would you prefer to get top 4 and win the FA Cup, or just win the Europa League?
Just win the Europa League.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Well,
right. So we're going to give Solskjaer a 6 out of 10 with an asterisk saying it could be higher. I know, I've got you off guard, and you made a fool of yourself, quite frankly.
Because I think I'd have done the other way around now, and I'm thinking about it. I think winning the FA Cup is a bigger... Because I think there's better teams left in the FA Cup.
Rewind it, lads. He said what he said. No changes. No
FA Cup top 4.
No takes his backs. You said Europa League.
But,
all right, then. Let's have another discussion. I'm not joking.
Player of the season.
Player of the season. I think, right, here's the 5 people who I think are in contention for this. Fred.
Yep.
Do you agree? You say agree or disagree that they're in the top 5?
Agree.
Fred. Wan-Bissaka.
Yep.
Harry Maguire.
Yes.
Marcus Rashford.
Yes.
Do you know what? I just think it's M4.
I think you potentially have McTominay. And I think potentially McTominay's in there.
We'll put him in.
Just because I thought he was immense.
So it's between. Let us know at home if you think there's anyone that should be in the top 5 contenders. These are and your nominees for best player of the season: Fred, McTominay, Rashford, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. There's no one else that gets in that.
I'd say McTominay, but that's about it.
Yeah.
To be honest, and if
so
the season would have gone out, I think Bruno would have been not far away from doing it.
Yeah. And do you know something? Actually, I would say myself that I don't think him not being here the full season should hinder his chances of getting in.
Look,
because he seems to have changed the whole attitude of the club.
If he scores 10 goals and single-handedly gets us a trophy in the top 4, then he can be.
But he's just not quite made it yet.
He's not played it yet because we've played a month.
Right, let's make the case for Scott McTominay.
Scott McTominay, just colossus. He was just so consistent. Even when we were having bad games, he wasn't having the bad games.
People forget that.
He was very good in the start of the season.
He's been 7 out of 10 every game.
7 out of 10 for every game. He was scoring some goals as well.
Yeah.
He was adding different things to his game. You could see him raising the levels of people around him. I just thought he was, considering the players he was around in there, I think he was up there with how good he's been.
Should we? I think we can rule him out, though. I don't think he's going to win it.
No.
Okay. But good case for Scott McTominay.
Yep.
He's not going to win it. Next up, Harry Maguire.
I think at the start, I don't think people were quite appreciating how good he was.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a case of, look, he's worth it. He was 80 million quid. He should stand out.
Should be the best player in the world.
That's not what he is. He was just better than all our other defenders, and he's just got everything you want. He's calm on the ball.
Yeah. He brings it out
everything.
really well.
I've seen stats today from how many times he's been winning aerial duels and stuff. And the Everton and Chelsea game. The Everton game, he won.
He was incredible in both of those games.
He won 9 in the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Again, those games were won because of him doing what he does very well.
Yeah, the Everton game especially. They had 13 corners in that game, and we've been so bad from set pieces.
He is so good.
Harry Maguire then, and also he's come in and he's taken the role of captain as well. That's it's an extra pressure that not everyone can handle. Do you think we keep him in we're going to have a top 3?
I think he's up there.
We'll put him in the top 3, so we'll come back to Harry Maguire.
Come back to him.
Okay, next up then, Marcus Rashford. For me, when he's played this season, he's been our best player.
Yes,
when he's played.
I think if it wasn't for this injury, it wouldn't
Easy.
even be a question.
Yeah.
Because he'd have been on 25 goals by now, which no player's done really. Zlatan's done it, but
we haven't had it in a while.
we've not had it in a while. And for someone that you doubted could score goals.
Yeah, 19 goals.
19 goals.
In January or whatever it was. Yeah, he's been brilliant.
Scary good. And I think just everything about him, like...
Do we think the injury rules him out? Or no, because he's still United's top scorer this season.
I think it rules him out, though.
It rules him out?
I think because, again, player of the season is the end. It's what you can do in the bigger games coming up.
Yeah, and we don't know if he'll play yet.
You don't know if he's going to play them.
No. Okay, so unfortunately, Marcus Rashford, who we both agree has been, when he's played, United's best player, is ruled out of team this season just because he hasn't been there for those... he hasn't been there for
a lot of good games. The City,
but those kind of finale games.
But then, it's hard doing a player of the season without that. It's why I don't like when they do the PFA player because
they do it in like April.
And you're like,
we don't know who's won the league yet, lads.
And they gave it. Was it Van Dijk last year?
Yeah.
If he'd have slipped on the last day of the season, it cost him for the title. He's not player of the season.
No,
because that ruined their season. But he didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, next up. So Marcus Rashford unfortunately can't win our player of the season so far. Next up then, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
He's been better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's improved as well.
Yeah.
Not only has he... Because he stood out the first few games of him coming in. You could see how good he defensively was.
Yeah. One of the best defensive fullbacks I've ever seen in my life.
Incredible. Unbelievable. And now he's added a bit of end product. You saw in the City game when he went past.
Yeah. His dribbling's got better.
Zinchenko flew past him. Put in a couple of good crosses as well. Unbelievable. He's up there.
We're keeping him on the list.
He's on the list.
So, and then finally then, Fred. For me, one of the most improved players, again, I've ever seen at United.
Most improved.
He was done. He was finished at the end of last season. He was no good. He gave the ball away all the time. He used to just, once a game, he'd give the ball away 20 yards out from our goal and then make a chance out of it. He's been brilliant.
I think he's similar to almost Harry Maguire in the sense that he's almost been just good at what it's not the fun parts of the game. It's not the assists. It's not that. It's doing a bit of dirty work. It's interceptions. It's a couple of tackles. It's being everywhere on the pitch. And I think he's been good. And not only that, is Maguire... I don't think Lindelof's had a great season, but Harry Maguire's centre-half partner has been Lindelof for most of it. It's been pretty settled what he's been playing with.
That's true.
He's played with Matic in there. He's played with McTominay in there. He's played with Bruno in there. He's played with Pereira. Lingard. He's played with all these different players in there and still been very good and done his job.
For me, it's between Wan-Bissaka and Fred.
Yeah, I think Harry Maguire's been good, but almost... Again, I think...
Because part of it has to come to...
Stay with me here. Harry Maguire has been like... It's almost when Messi wins it, you're like, well, he's the best player there. And that's what Harry Maguire's been. Yes, he's the best player there, but he should be.
Yeah.
He's not been better than he was before. He's just been a very good defender.
Yeah, and also...
And Messi is... It's like this season when they were saying Van Dijk. Van Dijk had a better season, but Messi is still a better footballer and still was better.
So what you're saying is Harry Maguire is the Messi of centre-backs?
In the Premier League for Manchester United.
We can agree on that. Yeah. Okay, so it's between Wan-Bissaka and Fred. What are you thinking?
Fred. You want to go Wan-Bissaka, don't you? I want to go Fred.
You know something? I would have agreed with you on Fred because I think he's gone from being just better than we thought he would be to being actually excellent.
Yeah.
But Wan-Bissaka in the last month, like you said, he's getting assists, he's putting crosses in. Yeah. The assist to Martial against Chelsea, that headed goal, is one of my favourite goals this season because it did something. I didn't think Wan-Bissaka had that in his locker, and I didn't think Martial had that in his locker.
And I think you have to. You had the big games.
And he won us that game, and he won us the City game. He's made Raheem Sterling look like Cam on the wing. Like he's been so bad, and it's like you have to take into account those big games. But it's so tight, isn't it? It's so tight.
We're going to agree to disagree.
I don't know.
We're going to agree.
No, do you know what? Let's go with Fred.
I think Fred has been our best player so far.
Fred has been Manchester United's player of the season so far.
We're going to put big asterisks.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes. If the season, if he kept going that form that he was on.
Yeah. If you're talking
impact,
sort of average performance per game, Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes have been the best two.
Yeah.
But I think
and honourable mentions to a couple of players. Anthony Martial has been very good.
Yeah.
I think he drops off when Rashford isn't there. But I think when Rashford hasn't been there, he wasn't as good as when Martial wasn't there for Rashford kind of thing. That's my kind of argument why he wasn't in there. But he's been quality. I think Brandon Williams coming in, wasn't even in the pre-season team, come in and played. For as much as Mr. Howson loves him, like for a player to not even be in the squad, to be pushing Luke Shaw, who's a very good player, to be the starting left back is unbelievable. And to never look phased.
Yeah, and another one I'd like to give as an honourable mention is Mason Greenwood. Come in and scored 12 goals, which is like, that's like Lacazette's best ever season, that, isn't it? Like, he's one of the, one of the best finishers at the club. He's 19 years old, turned 19, I think, in October or November. Turned 18 in October or November. He's 18, he's not 19. Scored way more than anyone thought. That's, no offence, I mean, again, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but that's kind of like average Martial Rashford seasons. And he's done it in his first year, playing half as many minutes, and from the right wing, mostly.
So here's a question for you right now.
Go on.
They decide to, maybe they either scrap it, or they stick with what we've got. They stay as it is. So we finish 5th, which they can't do. I mean, but say, if we finish 5th, we're in the Europa League next season. No trophy because no one's got a trophy. Let's say only Liverpool get given it because they get.
No, let's say they don't get given it. If no one gets
anyway, no one gets a trophy, but we finish 5th. We end up in the Europa League next season. Are you happy with this season?
I think again because, like we said, the final games seem to matter in terms of opinion and how you feel. It's how you feel, isn't it? And I feel good about United at the moment.
I feel good. I feel good going into next year.
Enough to be excited for next year.
Yeah, I feel good going into next year, whether that's the end of it or we get that. I feel like we would have got top 4 or a trophy. I think we'd have got one of those things. But I'm happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm considering how bad it got, like we talked about when we went through it all. That little dip in October, November time when people were saying we'll get relegated to now being we should get top 4 and we should get a trophy almost is unbelievable. How it's turned it around.
Right, let us know at home whether you agree that Fred, who would have predicted that at the start of the season, by the way, has been Manchester United's player of the season so far. Let us know in the comments whether we're missing anyone out. Is there someone we're not thinking of? Maybe Sergio Romero has been in there. He made a mistake against Bruges out. You're gone. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think to our review of the season so far. And do you think we're going to see any more games this season? The FA have already postponed the season indefinitely with the hope to come back on the 30th of April. But who knows if that's going to happen? We'll have to see. But we need some football. Thank you very much for joining us. Cheers, Alex.
Cheers, mate. Enjoyed that. See you in a bit.